Hello, everyone. Welcome to another week, another episode of In Lieu of Murder. This is Ainoa.
And Amanda Marie. And tonight we're going to be talking about the Williams.
The
Boop, boop.
Williams.
Yep.
We're back.
So, yes, we're going to be talking about the Williams couple. And
What did they do?
Many of you probably have no idea who this is because it wasn't really kept under wraps, but it was, if that makes sense. So, this is a couple who in 10 months robbed 15 banks.
Woo!
Right? You want to hear the whopping total amount of money they got away with?
How much? Tell me.
Well, they didn't really get away with it because they got caught. But $55,000.
That's it? In 15 banks, $55,000 is it.
They went all the way from Florida to Alabama. They robbed 15 banks. It took 10 months for the FBI to catch them.
Okay, but it doesn't make sense to me. Okay, just for math's sake, because my head is not, it's too late to be ready. My head does not want to do math. Just for math's sake, we're going to divide 50, let's just say 10 banks, 55,000, 10.
Well, it was 15 banks, right? So that means $3,666.66.
There you go. You used a calculator. I was trying to be smart and use my head, but okay.
That worked for you.
Fine, use a calculator. Apparently not great. So an average of $3,000 per bank. That's all they were getting.
$3,500, yeah. So, but you're going to understand why when we start to go over this. Now, for starters, let me say, these are the Williams.
They look like a cute couple.
Right, right. So her name is Kara and his name is Emmanuel. And they were newly married. They had only been married 6 months when this bank robbery spree started. And she was pregnant. So I'm going to set the scene for you. So she, being pregnant, was not able to really work anymore. She was having a lot of problems with standing on her feet too long.
But she can rob a bank.
Oh, well, wait till you understand the role.
Okay.
So she was saying like she couldn't stand on her feet too long anymore. It was really hard for her to do anything. And then he worked part-time for the post office.
That's a decent job.
He got laid off.
Shoot. Okay.
He got laid off just a few months before their baby was due.
Oh.
So they were newly married. She did not have support of her family because she chose to marry and have a child with Emmanuel.
Okay.
So she had nowhere to turn. He didn't come from a very stable background, I guess is the best way to put it. He lived most of his life in poverty-stricken areas.
Yep.
So he didn't have anywhere to turn back there either. So at that point, they decided we have to figure out some way to prepare and take care of our baby. And Kara decided to start looking into different ways that they could make quick money. And of all the things that she landed on, bank robbery was the best choice.
Okay. I mean, a lot of people. What year was this? Apparently not. What year was? That's what I was gonna say.
No, this was back in 2012.
Okay, so before COVID, so pre-COVID. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit harder, I guess, to find quick ways to make money before COVID. I mean, I don't know if this is a recommended thing or if I should even say it out loud, but my brain was thinking like prostitution. But, that's illegal.
I
So
mean,
I guess bank robbery would be the better thing for a pregnant woman to do in the two.
I would think so. I would rather rob a bank than prostitute, but that's just me. Um, I bet you I don't
I
even
guess
want
I told everybody my choice by accident.
you little whore. Just kidding. No, listen.
What works, works, right?
I don't know the end of the story. I don't know how much time they got, and I don't want you to tell me yet, but I almost guarantee that they got way more than somebody that would have stolen like millions of dollars by embezzling or something like that.
I could, we'll see when we get there.
Okay, we'll see.
Um, so the biggest thing was Kara realized that to get 15 years to life, which is a normal thing, it has to be strong armed robbery, which means there has to be proof of a weapon, which means a weapon would have to be shown on camera at a bank for it to be armed robbery instead of just bank robbery. Kara and Emmanuel start, practicing and trying to, get up the nerve to do the first one. Now, let me start with saying Kara also did enough research to know that disguises were important.
Okay. I mean, they are.
Why
Anybody that's ever
would
watched a movie knows disguises are important.
I would like to add,
Is that a disguise? Why does he look like a penis head from here?
I know, but I got to show you the next disguise. This was like bank robbery number 3, I believe.
What the fuck is he wearing?
So Kara decided that he should always wear a wig when he goes in, and he should never speak.
So he does sign language or he what?
He just walks
I'm robbing your bank. Poof.
in. No. So what Kara did is she wrote notes, and the note would say in all capital letters, "This is a bank robbery. I have a gun, so no alarms, and be fast. Give me all Give me all the money in your drawer. Be quiet and fast. No one will get hurt. All tens, 20s, and 100s." That's
Okay.
why they only get a certain amount of money, is because they were just robbing that individual teller out of the money in just her drawer. So that's why it would, on average, be about $3,500, because, banks have things that they have to do according to guidelines where they can only keep up to a certain amount in their drawer.
I mean, it makes sense why they only got that amount of money. I just honestly, I think if you're going to go ahead and rob a bank, I think maybe do 2 or 1 well-planned robbery and be out.
So, and what I understand is Kara, before she went on leave from work, worked at that branch of banks.
Okay, so she was like an inside man. She knew the
Right.
system.
She kind of knew how long it would take for them to alert authorities and things like that should something like that happen, because she knew her company's policy and procedures.
Ah, that makes sense. Okay.
That's why they had to hit banks all through Florida, and Alabama, because they needed to hit multiple banks.
Okay, and were they all the same type of like the same I was gonna say
All of them
brand,
but one.
the one they got caught,
So the last one, yeah,
the
and they
last
didn't
one.
actually get caught at the bank robbery. They got caught a few days after the bank robbery. So the Bank of America, that's the bank, was the first one that they did was in Auburndale, Florida.
Okay. No clue where that
And
is.
They went through multiple different places, Miami, Davenport, Tampa, but all the banks that they were hitting, all of these banks in Florida were approximately 17 miles apart each.
Okay.
And they didn't hit them all in like one day. The problem though, um, with authorities trying to figure out who it was, is they kept changing the license plate on the car. So I don't know where they got all these license plates from. Um,
You
but they
robbed them, Amanda.
like, well, I know.
You like unscrew it from a different car and put it on yours. It's fairly
Well,
easy.
and so they didn't have their own vehicle. They were using other vehicles. Like he had a car, so they used his car. That was the black car that was used a few times.
Okay.
Where they started to get caught is Kara borrowed a white Mustang from someone. I'm not sure if it was in her family or a close friend, but somehow that white Mustang was tied back to Kara.
Okay. That's how they got
That
caught.
is when the FBI started to be like, okay, let's look into, this Kara girl more. And
Yeah.
then, but she doesn't show up in any of the videos being inside the bank because Kara's job was to write the note and be the getaway driver.
Easy day. I mean,
Listen, I'll do that for $3,500. I mean, if it's not bank robbery, guys, sorry.
I'll write notes, drive away from places.
Yeah, $3,500. I'll write all the notes you want me to. And then on top of that, like neither one of them ever turned off their cell phones. So the FBI was able to track them at every single bank during the bank robbery via their cell phones. they they pinged at every single location. So note
Look,
to self: if
turn
you're
off your damn fucking cell phone and buy a burner.
well, and to me, it's my thing. Like, who do you need to take a call from during that time? Couldn't you have just turned the phone off? Like, who are you waiting on a call from? Like, oh, hey, mom. No, I can't talk right now. My husband's in the bank robbing them. I'll call you back in a little while.
I would like to talk to you about your car's extended warranty. Can you imagine?
How much does it cost? Is it less than 3,500?
Oh
Yeah, you
Lord.
can spend that now.
I mean,
So,
I don't know. I think it's commendable though that they put some thought process into this. It wasn't just like
but you could tell that they're young. And I say that because after each bank robbery, they went to the mall
to do what
to shop.
exactly? No, they did not.
Yes, they did.
Oh
They would
God.
post about it on Facebook.
I
Um,
mean, but were they doing it like methodically? Like, okay, so did they shop? And did they shop in disguise? That's number one. Because
No,
sorry.
no, he didn't. He took off his disguise. So he would always wear like that kind of wig or an afro or something, but you see that naturally his hair is cut low.
Okay, yeah,
I want to take a step back because I realized I jumped ahead of myself.
as you always do. Just kidding.
I do always I can't help it. It's ADHD, and that's what ADHD people blame everything on is their ADHD. So
I blame it on being a Virgo. I'm like, I'm
I'm
sorry,
not a
I'm a Virgo. Well, you blame it on ADHD. I can blame it on whatever I want to blame it on.
all right.
Which
Well, because I'm a Scorpio, I always jump ahead of myself. And if you can do it, I can do it, right? So
exactly.
I forgot to add a couple of important details in here.
Okay.
10 days after their first bank robbery, she gave birth to their child.
Oh wow.
10 days
Before the first one.
after the first one.
Oh, after the first one.
So that's why, so they were planning and they were trying to figure things out for money. And then they got really close to having this baby and they didn't have, their rent wasn't paid, their bills were behind. She was scared her and the baby weren't going to have anywhere to go. That's when they did the first one. So, he, of course, did the first couple of them completely, went in by himself. She wasn't going to be on camera, da da da. They weren't going to figure it out until the fourth bank robbery. One, two, three, four. Yeah, until the fourth bank robbery.
Okay.
That bank robbery, she went in. And that's at first why they didn't connect the two, because it was a black man in disguise multiple
And then
times
a woman.
and then a white woman. And she didn't wear a disguise. She wore sunglasses. That was her
Oh,
disguise.
really?
Yeah. You know, just go in here and get this money real quick. I got to go grab some formula.
I
Um,
mean, white woman with blonde hair and sunglasses. There's like
I mean, yeah, you just
a lot
described
of them.
Florida.
Exactly.
So the Williams, after they had the baby, they continued to rob banks. And of
Okay.
course, Kara would sit in the car with the baby while he went in, did what he did, and came back out. And then they would go away. They would drive away. And they stopped living in their permanent apartment and they started hotel hopping because they were on the run. They knew eventually they would be caught. But he started to feel like, hey, we got to come up with a different plan.
Okay.
And he was like, listen, we got to do something else. This isn't going to work. To which she responded with, well, this is the only thing that's been working.
I mean, she wasn't wrong.
I mean, no, she wasn't. I mean, 3,500 a pop. I mean, that's an
Uh,
easy day. 15
And that
minutes
was
time.
in 2012. So, like, okay, 3,200 right now. That's not a lot right now, to be honest with you, for the amount of risk. But in 2012, that's a little bit more money. Things were cheaper then. Let me ask you, do you think it's worth the risk?
So it's really funny that you asked that. I say that because if I tomorrow knew that, let's say, let's just go out on a limb. Okay. Let's allegedly, if I found out tomorrow I was terminal and I was going to die in a year,
Okay.
I don't have a lot of money or assets to leave to my family to help with the cost of moving forward in life. I would absolutely rob a bank, stash the money. If I got caught, take the charge, but I'd leave the information on where the money is to my family.
I want you to know that if that time comes, I love you very much, Amanda. I would like a portion of the proceeds to be distributed to me. um, no, but okay, so I don't know. I agree with you. If that was the situation, 100% would rob a bank. But my question is, would you, pregnant, rob a bank for $3,000 a pop, knowing that
I
I
mean,
wouldn't either?
but I would also say that I'm a very resourceful and savvy person. If I really needed to make 3K in a matter of a couple of days, I could figure it out. You know what I mean? Without having to rob a bank. And
Yeah.
that's not me being cocky or, but I'm a
Yes, it
hustler.
is, Amanda.
No, I'm a
You're
hustler.
being cocky.
I can prostitute. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just like, I don't get how people get themselves in those kinds of situations, and I'm never going to understand it only because I've been an adult for long enough to know that everything costs money. So I don't spend money frivolously, friv- frivolously.
You said it right the first time. You need to stop.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
I
Big word of the
needed that
day.
reassurance. Uh,
Frivolously.
but but I also understand how that can happen to people. I mean, I've had days where I've like bought stuff that I shouldn't and know that I shouldn't have spent that money. But I also have a little bit of money set aside if my tire blows out, or I'm not one of those people that I live completely paycheck to paycheck. I just act like I do so that I don't spend extra money that I could be saving for something else.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem is with them being young and scared and not having many people to fall back on. Maybe they didn't have the intelligence or the resources to look out for other things or reach out
Maybe.
to programs for help. They were just like, hey, $3,500 in 15 minutes is big for us, especially with her. She was working, let's see, she's making what, $16 an hour as a bank teller at the bank. So she was making approximately $640 a week to work at the bank,
Mm.
and then she had to quit working. Let's say he was making an average of like he was part time, so we'll say $400 a week at the post office. So they're making $1,000 a week together. All right, so that's $4,000 a month that they make together, and they can get $4,000 almost for 15 minutes of their time.
Yeah,
I
no, I'm
think them, they thought it was the perfect thing. I don't understand the disguises. Um, like they were really goofy. I don't feel like they were very well thought out. This last one, this one right here, looks like a Halloween dread thing.
Is he wearing an eye patch? I wanna know know because it looks
No,
like
no,
he's
I think
wearing an eye
those
patch.
are glasses.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
and
those
I get what you're saying, they in 15 minutes work, they can make what they made in a whole month. I'm just saying the risk involved in robbing a bank to me is not worth the $3,000.
how would you do it?
How would I rob a bank?
Yeah,
Well,
let's plan it. Okay. All right.
I
I got out the map.
I would either one apply to work at a bank or two, this would be part one of my plan, or two, find someone in the bank that works at the bank, casually run into them, not at the bank, and befriend them or start dating them. Preferably dating them because that way I can get more secrets, you know? Just to get inside information. I need that. I would need that first. Um, I don't have any more steps planned as of now. Just,
All right. So
uh,
listen, I got it all planned out in my head.
you do?
I've had it all
Okay.
planned out in my head since I was like 7.
Okay, I want to hear. Tell me.
All right. So first, I wasn't going to date a bank person. I was going to date someone with a helicopter.
Okay, those
Um,
are way easier to find. Just
well, I mean, they are where I live, but I live in a different part of the world. I just made it sound like I'm on an
you're Nardia.
me and my island over here. I live in the mountains. There's actually a lot of people with helicopters. And that sounds really weird to say, but I mean, if you don't want to drive, fly. Um, so, but I would date a person with a helicopter because, yeah, you can walk into a bank, but why walk in when you can drop it?
Because usually banks don't have helicopter pads.
I completely disagree with that. A
It's
lot of your larger banks do have helicopter pads because they fly in and fly out the money instead of Loomis coming.
okay.
But anyways, I was going to get a helicopter and then I was going to come from upstairs. So, and just so y'all know, a lot of my theory in my bank robbery thing that I made up in my head years ago came from Ocean's 12. Um,
Okay.
or 13. It came from Ocean something. But I was going to drop in from the top and then I was going to come down the stairs. And instead of walking into the lobby, I was going to walk straight into the vaulted area back where the security deposit boxes were. And I wasn't going to steal money from the tellers. I was going to steal everything out of the safety deposit boxes.
Uh-huh.
I was going to blow them up with dynamite. Um, But my theory was that the bank would be closed. Like I wouldn't break in the middle. You wouldn't do that in the middle of the afternoon. Um, So I would come in from the roof. I would break into the safety deposit box area. I would take off all the boxes with the dynamite. I would get all of the belongings. The bank would be reimbursed, and all the people would be reimbursed by insurance. So I
I
wouldn't
mean,
be taking anything. I would be borrowing it until insurance reimbursed them.
except in safety deposit boxes, people don't always usually, but they do keep money, but they also keep other things that cannot be covered by insurance. I
Right,
mean, they
like
could be
jewelry and guns.
financially, yeah. Um, so
I like
uh,
jewelry and I like guns.
yeah, I know, but you would be, I don't know. I'd rather just steal money. But how are you getting in the vault?
What do you mean? You don't have to go in the vault to get to the safety deposit boxes.
Yes, you do. They are
No, there's
under,
no vault.
they are behind a closed door. They're not in the open.
They
It's
are
not
behind a
like in
closed
the,
door.
and some places do have them in a vault, like some banks
Yeah,
do.
and some don't. Like some just have them behind a locked door.
Okay, so how would you get the schematics of the bank and
Well,
the
that's
inner
remember,
workings?
remember when you were talking, first started talking, and I said, "Hold on, let me grab the map."
Uh-huh.
You can get blueprints of anything, and not that I should disclose this information to. If any of you out there are criminals, you shouldn't be watching our podcast anyways, because you're going to end up on it. But you can get blueprints of any building by going online and looking at their tax, like tax ID. You click on that tax ID under GIS mapping for your county, and you can pull up blueprints for any building.
Ooh, okay.
So it's literally that easy. Like I know the entire floor plan for all of my neighbors' houses because I have nothing better to do with my time but look at GIS mapping, and because I'm nosy. But
I look into like Zillow. When I go do delivery, sometimes I'll put it like if it's a nice house, I'll put in the address in Zillow so I can see what it looks like inside.
that's actually really smart. Um, Yeah, so I just use GIS mapping because I'm so used to using map working in a construction company kind of taught me to use
Uh-huh.
that for pretty much everything. So as long as you can get your hands on blueprints, plus I don't know if you knew this, but anybody that files that builds something has to file a building permit. So if it's not listed on their tax, like their tax ID for the under GIS mapping, you can request a copy of any blueprint from your local planning and zoning commission office.
Okay.
Um, and you don't even have to specify a reason,
Okay.
which is weird. Like, nah,
It
man, I
kind
just
of
want to know what
is.
the bank looks like. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
was
mean,
thinking about buying the building and decorating it for Christmas.
I mean, I don't know that you would want to show your face though at what did you say it was? The
Planning and zoning
GI.
commission's
Yeah,
office.
there you go. I wouldn't show my face there and ask for plans of the bank that I'm planning on robbing because they probably have cameras and when the
No, but wouldn't
bank
that be a
gets
great thing to
robbed.
send an assistant to do? Like, oh, you're downtown while you're down there. Can you stop by da 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 and grab this?
Yeah, but you it can't be somebody that can come connect back to you.
Oh,
So,
no, it definitely can because also blame it on them.
ooh,
They'll be
I w-
like Amanda. So that old woman, Betty, the 83-year-old is the one that robbed the bank. I'd be like, I told y'all she was flexible, man. I don't know. Something's wrong with Betty out there robbing banks.
listen, you could also get a couple fake identities. You go to the cemetery, you look at, you know, the grave of somebody that died around the same time that you that
I know. I know. Gosh, thank you, I know, for killing me in the middle of that bank robbery.
No. Hold on. I'm gonna I'm gonna have to
You almost made me
return.
cry.
You look at the grave of somebody that was born around the same year, right? And then you grab their information and you try to get their social security number and then you apply for all their paperwork, get fake identities, and that's perhaps how you can go to places to ask for information about this bank. right?
Oh,
I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't know. We're not criminals. We're not going to rob a bank.
speak for yourself. Starting a new life tomorrow with
Listen,
$3,666.66.
that had to be a high, though. I have to be honest with you. Okay, please tell me it wouldn't turn you on to rob a bank with a person that you're, seeing, you're in love with.
So
Because
listen, this is my theory with that though. Because I feel what you're saying, like the excitement, the adrenaline, like, oh, we got away with it, da da da. But I'm one of those people that's like, I think about everything that could have gone wrong, everything that I don't think I'd be a fun person to be a bank robber with. Like, and that's me speaking as honestly as I can about me. Like, guys, if I ever invite you to be my partner in this, don't do it. Don't. Because as soon as we leave, I'm gonna be like, "You touched 4 of those surfaces, 16 seconds apiece. CSI is gonna have depth fingerprints of this, you know, and I heard you mutter this word, which means they now have your voice on recording." And, like, I would be a horrible person to bank rob with because I'm gonna tell you everything you did wrong. It's not for me, there's not gonna be a high from it. There's gonna be anxiety because I'm an anxious-ridden person, and I'm going to spend the next 3 months every time a cop even passes going, "We're busted." You know? I don't think I'd be a great bank robber.
I would be paranoid as well, but that wouldn't take away from the fact that I think it would be a definite turn on. Like in that moment, without thinking about anything else, like right after it happens, you cannot tell me that it wouldn't be a turn
See,
on.
but I'm different because right after it happens, all I'm gonna think is, "Oh my god, everybody out here are undercover police officers." Like, my brain is gonna be horrible. I guess it would be a great thing to do with me if you're gonna, like, drug me prior, like, but don't let me take my Adderall because I am gonna be hyper focused on paranoia. Um, and I don't know, maybe I should take my Adderall because then I'm usually pretty on point with things too. So hyper focused on the robbery and then hyper focused on the paranoia.
Exactly. You'd be going behind them, cleaning the surfaces. Like,
Like,
motherfucker, can you stop touching?
shut the fuck up. You talk too much. Quit being so friendly. You
Oh,
just smile at her. Now she knows you have a gap in your teeth.
oh God.
Um, and part of the reason I wanted to jump back to the Williams. So part of the reason they started to show up on that radar was number one, the Kara Williams, Mustang.
Yeah.
But then when they looked at the Mustang part of it and they were trying to figure out who used that Mustang that could have committed this robbery, they looked at the fact that Kara didn't have a job and Emmanuel didn't have a job, but they seemed to be spending a lot of time and money in casinos.
Come on, man. Why? Like,
Because they busted
why?
up to just support their kid. They would have never gotten caught if number one, they didn't use that Mustang, and number two, they weren't in those casinos.
That's so fucking
If
stupid.
they
And
had
you don't
just
go,
stopped and disappeared into the abyss right now, they would have never gotten caught.
were they making money at the casinos?
So they never have disclosed that information.
Okay, because then the answer is no. Because I went to a casino, 2 days ago. Okay, they gave me $60 for free because it's my birthday month. I started playing with $60 and I came out with 57 cents. 57 cents. That's what I came out with.
I was just gonna say with the Williams, like I feel like they really wouldn't have got caught if they would have just slowed their roll and stayed in wraps. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
were spending the money at the mall all the time. They were in the casinos. They were young and stupid. Stupid.
They were having fun.
Well,
Did
and
they
at first, because they had did it in multiple counties and in multiple states, at first, it wasn't put together that they were connected.
wait, since they crossed state lines, is it a federal crime?
Yes, that's why the FBI had to start investigating.
Okay,
If they had never crossed state lines, it wouldn't have been a federal crime.
but they did. I see. How much did they get?
So Kara was given 5 years, and her charges were conspiracy to obstruct, delay, or affect commerce by robbery. He
Okay.
was given the same exact charge, and he got 5 years and 10 months. They
So it
both were.
was
Sorry, go ahead.
so I just want to clarify. You said conspiracy to what or what?
Conspiracy to obstruct, delay, or affect commerce by robbery.
So basically they just interrupted the teller.
Yeah, more or less, because you can get that same charge, and I was reading that earlier, is you can get that same charge for robbing a department store if you take over a certain amount of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they charge them with retail theft. And of course, they were both ordered to pay restitution in the amount of $55,526.
Oh.
And forfeit, when they got busted, they had $48,000 on them.
That means that they had won something at the casinos because there's no way that they
Yeah,
would
because
still have that much money.
they were doing this from December of 2020 to November of 2013. So they were robbing
December.
banks for a year almost. It was 10 months. For 10 months, they were robbing banks.
Okay.
15 banks in 10 months.
You said December of 2020. You mean December of 2012?
Yes. Why did I say 2020?
I don't know, but maybe the same
And it
reason
was
I
back to
said
time and finished
yeah.
in 2013 because that's how cool they were.
Yep.
Let me just say this, guys. Like, I've dated some very what's the good word? Sketchy individuals in my life. You can ask I know it. She's received multiple calls from me in strange situations throughout my life.
Yes.
I don't think she's ever gotten a call from me that said, "Hey, so I'm on this date and this guy is saying, we should rob this bank really quick." Like, number one, I am famous for making horrible decisions. Like,
Mhm.
I could almost really like be in prison. No, just kidding, y'all. But if it's a bad decision, I am probably gonna make it. Because that's who I am as a person. But I don't think that bank robbery would ever be that, and murder. Like, I don't have a reason to do those things. I can't say if I was ever that desperate if I do it, because I don't know. I've never been that desperate.
I mean, I guess you would have to be there. I don't know. I don't like to say no. I will never, you know, do something because
No, I know that I'm definitely capable of, like, I'm capable of murder. I know that everybody's capable of murder. Everybody can be pushed to that over something,
I
you
agree.
know.
Yeah.
And but can everybody be pushed into bank robbery?
I don't know. They should do a
I don't
social
think that
experiment.
people have who should conduct the experiment? Regions, Bank of America,
Any
Truist.
of them, and then just have the test subjects, you know, just actually try to rob banks. And if they get along with, like, if they get away with it, they get to keep the money as, you know, compensation for
Well,
being
and
part of the
wait,
trial.
because my helicopter idea is on point.
I don't like your idea, but that's just me. That's I think it's a flawed plan. I
Okay.
think if you're going
Well,
to enter a vault, you want to enter it through a tunnel, not through the top. Because the tops of vaults or things like that are usually reinforced with steel
Right, and floors are usually guarded with lasers.
or sensors, but those can be
Gonna
turned
blow up
off.
the floor. Where are you going to stand to get all the money out the vault?
Well,
In
first
the
off,
hole?
you have to create a sinkhole outside of the bank so the construction worker needs to start
Listen,
happening.
if you create a sinkhole around the whole bank, you could just take the whole bank.
Just create
Like,
a
how many
portal.
people have done that? Like, if you're going to do it big. Take the whole bank with
Create a sinkhole that goes from here to my house.
you. Yes. And boom.
And boom. No, but listen, Amanda. So if you create like a sinkhole type situation in front of a bank or by a bank, right? They will have to start doing construction. Because of the construction, the bank will eventually have to turn off the sensors. Because if they don't turn off the sensors, the alarm's going to keep going off continuously because of the drilling and digging and blah, blah, blah going around the bank. So there you go. Perfect timing to create a tunnel underneath the vault and rob it. And and most vaults are time sensitive, which means that after they lock at a certain point of time, they will not reopen until the next morning. Doesn't matter if you have a key or if you have a code. So you have that amount of time that you know no one can come in.
Most vaults also have a security guard. So you're
He
just going to
can't come in.
guard.
No,
He's
he can't come in. He's not going to be in the vault. And he would not be able to come in because they have a time
No, I'm
lock.
pretty sure that that's the exact plot from Ocean's 12,
Oh, might?
11. Yeah. Maybe it's
Oh,
Ocean's 11. But yeah, so that's exactly what they did. The problem that they ran into is wasn't the guard. It wasn't the next day until they figured it out. Anyways, but all I was thinking that whole time as you were telling your story is I thought we were still talking about you sinkholing the entire bank.
uh,
And so my brain was like, oh man, the security guards that work in there it's going to suck for them because they're going to have to live the rest of their life in this bank in a sinkhole um, with no money.
that
Um,
stinks.
but
But
no,
this, okay, I just want to put it out there. If anybody out there is watching us and they are like a mastermind of robbing banks, someone like, I don't know, the professor from Money Heist, for instance, right? Keep me in mind. I I don't know.
well, listen, if you have already served time for a bank robbery, then you can't be charged twice.
I don't
So
want to serve time.
no, listen, I'm talking to the people, not to you. Shh.
Oh,
If y'all have already served time for a previous bank robbery, I got questions. I want to talk to you. I want to interview because I want to know one, how you got caught, and two, what you would do different now.
I'm looking for employment opportunities.
She's applied at some banks, but no one's hired her yet for some reason.
Oh God.
I really hope that you and I never want to work at a bank because I'm pretty sure this podcast alone is going to stop that.
Oh shit. Now we can't post it.
We're posting it.
Fine.
Listen, they wouldn't pay us enough anyways. Um, but with that being said, that is the story of Kara and Emmanuel Williams. They are our modern day, not as intelligent Bonnie and Clyde.
Ooh, please let us know if you want us to do a video on Bonnie and Clyde. That's
Yes,
the quintessential like romance story, like Die Hard, ride or die. That's what I meant.
she really wants to do Bonnie and Clyde, y'all.
I'm
Well,
trying to convince Amanda. So much for listening. Till next week. We love you. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, y'all.
Bye.
Creating disasters you can't resist. From first dates to court dates, we've got it all. So grab a seat and join the fun. In lieu of murder, we're number
We're
one.